So we're going to be doing a cold start of this loco, which means we have to build the fire up and you know, set everything up before we get going. That's the reason why we're in a siding for 10 minutes at the start. Takes a little while to load. You can't load this on the absolute maximum settings, it'll just crash. You've got to have your scenery quality at 1 notch below full. Everything else can be right up to the maximum, you know, all your anti-aliasing and everything like that. Everything can be up on maximum. Right, it's Sunday, July 31st, 1966. Very late start, but I've missed it anyway. Let me get rid of this text. Set up your loco from a cold start here at West Auckland Shed. Checklist for the cold start procedure has been placed in the briefing for you to refer to, as your still partially addled brain shakes off the excesses of last night's victory celebrations. 31st of July this is set on in 1966. The day before was the England versus Germany World Cup final. The last time we won the World Cup. There we go. That 2MT there, just to get him to come out and go onto the main line there. Oh my god, 2 days of fighting with the bloody game to get it to do it. Right, so as mentioned, your quick start, cold start procedure is all there for you in the F1 menu. There's also a bug when you whether you're doing it yourself or whether it's auto fireman putting the call on the fire. Sometimes the fire mass won't go up. It'll just be shoveling away and nothing will be actually adding to the fire mass. Ed knows about it, but he can't replicate it to fix it. So, but luckily there's an easy fix. You literally just grab the firebox door if it's open. Just grab the firebox door, close it, and open it again, and it should start putting call on the fire again. Right, first things first, let's get the fire going on. Auto fireman's taking care of that for us. Set up the gauge glasses. Okay, they're set up. Turn on the compressor and close the drain valve. Right, now when that gets to 75, which is about here, we can turn on the electricity supply for the AWS and the lights inside the cabin stuff. We will release the handbrake while we're waiting. I hear a train. There's another Bossman Black 5. You would have been 6 months old. Well, at least you were around for it. I wasn't even a twinkle in anybody's eye until like nearly 10 years later. In fact, over 10 years later. 77 I was born. The 2MT came out of the sidings, went all the way down there, picked up some wagons, and now he's on his way back up, as you can see. Right, you can see there's nothing on the gun on the fire mass. He's shoveling away, nothing happening. But the solution is dead simple. Just close the firebox door. If auto's on, he'll open it automatically again. But now he's putting stuff on the fire, if you look. Easy fix. Right. We've got 100 down on there, so we can turn on the electric. cancel the self-test. Right, there's the 2MT. He's going to get held up. He's going to sit blocking us from leaving the siding for a couple of minutes. So your ideal fire mass is 850 for mainline running. Now we'll open the small ejector, release the M8 valve, and release the main brakes. Right, so we are. You'll have to sit right here and wait for the signal to go green before we can go. That's the signal for that line, don't get confused with it. We just pay attention to this one. This guy is held up because there's a train with higher priority coming. I've also found with that signal there, if you sit too close to it, it won't change. So I tend to keep the loco on the bridge. You know, I try not to poke the front off the end of the bridge. So there he is, nice little K1. Right, so he'll be able to move up, but obviously because that guy's gone in front of him, he's going to have to wait at the next signal for the line to clear in front of him. So basically he moves up one, we get to move up one, and then when he gets permission to move up from that one he waits at up there, then we'll get permission to get on, cross over the main line to get onto our siding, which goes up around there. Have we got enough fire mass? Yeah, we've got enough to start moving, because we're only going to be going at 15 or so, 10 even, maybe not even that. Right, open the cylinder cocks, stick some reverser on. That'll do. Right, so we just have to wait for this to clear. I don't know why the sander things always seems to be turned on, but it's never releasing sand, it's just it seems to be on the hood every time you start a scenario with this loco. Right, that'll do, we don't need any more throttle. Right, after those AI, after that K1 passes, all the rest of the AI on this scenario, they're all proximity activated, which means you can, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're a fast driver or a slow driver, it's all going to look the same for everybody. Right, so we've got to sit here and wait for our signal to clear. See, he's waiting at the next signal ahead for the K1 to clear in front of him. Oh, we've got a cute little J94 coming out with a couple of guard vans. Yeah, so he was proximity. He was triggered by our proximity. So doesn't matter when you come out of the sidings. You could come out of the sidings 10 minutes after I did, and he's still going to come out when you get to this point. So cute. Right, how's our fire mass? Nearly 750. Oh, he's stopped increasing the fire mass again. And it's going up again. Stick the blower on, so we start building pressure instead of losing it. I'm not sure, but it might, that bug might be triggered by actually activating the F4 menu, the F4 HUD. Right, we have a go, so we can get moving now. So we'll just leave it on the F5 HUD until he has finished calling up. Auto will stop calling at 900. It's stormy weather because I did some research and it was thundery showers the day after the World Cup final in 1966 in the northeast of England. Right, so we have an ideal fire mass now for mainline running. Turn the sound up so you can hear me. Let me know if it starts drowning my voice out, and I'll fiddle with the levels. Right, auto's done now, so we can go back on the F4 menu. Now what I wish was if you could have just these levers, these three levers here, and the F5 menu there. That would be awesome. Right, we've got to start slowing down to 30. Start topping up the water. So now we're off to pick up some water. Seems to need the blower on to build pressure for some reason. Even at ideal fire mass, it loses pressure unless I've got the blower on. We're about to enter into Bishop Auckland now. So we've got a DMU sat on platform 1. That's the only remaining platform at Bishop Auckland today. The rest are all supermarkets and stuff now. In fact, the part of the triangle that goes up behind platform 1 there, that's actually now it's a road. I can't remember exactly what the road's called, but the road follows where the track used to lie. So he's gonna pull out now. Now that we've passed, he's gonna pull out and get on his way to Darlow. Yeah, this platform that we're on, and that's the one that's a road now. Slowed down a touch too much there. There we go, that's perfect. We got it right in the slot. Got a K1 pulling in behind us. Again, all of these are proximity triggered. You know, we have to get to a certain distance away from all of these and then they activate themselves. So no matter if you are a skilled driver or a novice, doesn't matter when you get here, you're always going to see the AI exactly the same. Little J94 with some freight. So we're just waiting for our tender to fill up. 4,000 gallons it holds. And there we go. First on your job sheet today is to pick up a consignment of bricks from Newton Cap Brickworks and take them up to Durham, where building work on new housing at Gilesgate Moor has all the brick manufacturers in the region working flat out to keep up with demand. Go to Newton Cap Brickworks too and connect the wagons there to the front of your local. To me, this looks like an old cinema of some description, doesn't it? It looks very Art Deco. Reminds me of the Majestic in Darlington. It's definitely got an Art Deco feel to it. Hello there, Ben. How are you? Class 37 net. We need to start slowing down again because just after the bridge we're turning left onto the Newton Cap sidings.
Commander, I'm receiving a signal over the secondary QEC.
Thank you very much for the host there, much appreciated. You're knackered, but okay. Not too bad today. Thanks very much for the host there, Killer Cans Gaming, and welcome to your viewers. What you're watching here is my latest scenario. I've just released it on the workshop last night. I've literally an hour ago put it up on UK Train Sim, so it's probably not even approved yet on UKTS. But you can get it from there too as soon as it gets approval. It's for the Bossman Games Black 5. You've missed the cold start. You have to set it up from cold and then pull out the sidings, take on some water. We've just taken on the water and now we're picking up our first load, which is bricks for Gilesgate Moor in Durham. Now all the AI in this is proximity triggered, so there is no rush to do any of your objectives. Take your time, you know, because it doesn't matter when you get, you know, when you get to the next waypoint, all your AI is going to be exactly the same, you know. You could do everything 10 minutes after I have and it'll still all look the same for you. Right, connect the wagons in the siding to your left, which is these ones, to the front of your consist. Take charge of operating the points manually. Just sticking it in reverse. Annoyingly, you can't see the position of your reverser on the F4 HUD, so you have to jump into the F5 HUD to see where it's at. Or look at that thing. Just waiting for the brakes to release and then it'll start moving. There we go. Just putting the reverser in reverse ready just to get going because we're almost hooked up. Drop the wagons in Newton Cap Colliery 1 siding and then reverse back out of the siding and connect the guards van in Newton Cap Colliery 3 to your front. Basically what it's saying there is you need to come out to here and drop all the wagons we've just picked up in here because we need to pick up this brake van and tack it onto the end, and then after we've done that we're going to be running around to the head shunt and connecting the load to the back of the loco, and then we'll be able to reverse back out onto the main line and get going off up to Durham. Welcome back then. Oof. I've stuck little men by the switches, you know, just to give it a bit of more realism. Right, our path is now set. Just gonna put some forward reverser on now. Oops. We nearly went into edit mode there. Note to self, don't press push to talk when putting forward reverser on. Heavy old load this, that's why we've only got 11 wagons. The steam in the chest lasts for a little while, so you've always got to let go of the regulator early. See, we let go at 6 miles an hour then, we still built up another 3 miles an hour before the steam in the chest expired. How are the cats? They are both sleeping. Hello there, Jelly, lurking away there. Thanks for the compliment on the stream, NG with hats. I do appreciate it. Right, so we're dropping these off here. We're going to pick up this brake van, tack it onto the end, and then we're going to run around up here and attach our loco to this end. I need to reverse. throw that switch. That should line us up with that one. Let's just make sure. Yep. Yep, I've just heard a follow. I'll have to wait until I see the notification to see who it was. Thank you though, whoever that was. NG with hats, thank you very much for the follow there. I've still got my Mass Effect alerts up. Oops. You don't have this loco in your train sim yet. It's one of those where I would definitely recommend it. I don't recommend many things. So when I say it's worth getting, you should, yeah, whenever you get the chance. Honestly, it's a worthwhile loco. Oops, we forgot to toot. There we go, we tooted. Gently does it. Okay, now connect the wagons in Colliery 1 to the front. Start putting some water in the boiler. Flip that switch, that sets us back up onto this line again. You can hear the water going into the boiler there. You're saving your money for model trains though. Well, yeah, if you've only got so much, you know, priorities, isn't it? Now this is why in real life you would have somebody stood marshalling you in, because it's pretty hard to see where you're at. You know, it's hard to see when the front of your guard's van's going to hit the back of the train. It's just hit there. Right. Now disconnect the consist from your loco. What we've already missed, by the way, is there was a 2MT came by as we were in here doing our work. Yeah, he's already been and gone. He pulls on up here as we're doing our shunting stuff and flies past. So we've missed him, never mind. Right, so we need to go back into reverse. disconnect the whole thing. Run your loco around via colliery 2, which is this one here, and use the head shunt, which is the right at the end, to reverse into colliery 1 and connect the load to the rear of your loco. Oh, then you go a touch further back. There we go. Now it's allowed it. Just a quick check to make sure our path is set all the way along. Yes. Now I set up the stop at the head shunt to be instant. There's no timer on it, but it still makes you wait for about 20 seconds. Now Jelly's got loads of model trains that need a new home. There you go. I gave up with model trains after my prized ones got stolen out of our shed many years ago. That was enough to sicken me. Because I had an original, and I mean original, it was from the 50s or something. It was a Triang Princess Royal. It was the Princess Royal. And it didn't run very well because it was that old. It was very stuttery and you know, it threw out lots of sparks and stuff, but it always gave off that model train oily smell as well. It was great. Yeah, it was worth a fortune. Somebody nicked it from our shed. Right, change that switch. So that'll direct us now into siding 1. What you've also got to remember to do, set this switch. When you connect up to these, you'll get a message pop up reminding you to set that switch, because yeah, I've been caught out by that. I forgot to set it and derailed myself. And it's my own scenario. Oops, I've just had to close the water. I forgot I had the boiler filling. I've overfilled it. Oops. All I can say, it's a good job that Train Sim doesn't simulate priming. You had an old Hornby from about 1963, wore the wheels into a curve where they sat on the rails. Oops. Right, now make your way back to the main line and stop at the marked stopping point, which is there. Make sure your entire train is past the signal, do not foul the points. Don't forget to set the points for your return to the main line. That is more for my benefit than it was for anybody else's because of that mistake I made. I forgot to set that point and ended up derailing the thing there. That stop point, I would have loved to have made it bigger, but every time I tried to extend it, because it's a custom destination marker, every time I tried to extend it, it ended up routing the train around the wrong way. What it ended up doing was, instead of routing it up here to the stop point, it would end up routing it down here and send us all the way into Bishop Auckland to come back again. You know, so that stop point is narrow because that's as big as I could make it and still have it behave and do what I wanted it to do. Let's get some more throttle on. Feels like there's a brake on or something. Nope, nothing's got any brakes on. Handbrake's fully off. Probably because I've primed the boiler and it's not performing very well. Can I use the F4 hood to fire and water this loco? No. You've got to either use auto fireman, which I'm using right now to keep the fire mass up, or you've got to you can fire it manually by pressing R, but it's shovel by shovel. Literally, you have to press R for every single shovelful. So yeah, your finger gets tired, hence why I'm using auto fireman. These are the points that we don't want to be fouling. Sorry, no, it's them ones that we don't want to foul. Our stopping point is just beyond this signal. Some empty brick wagons for the brickworks there. Gotta wait for the time. Let's stick it in forwards, eh? That's a good idea. Right, we're ready to go. Release the brakes. Wait for it to finish. I could have sworn I turned that off. Well, it's off now anyway. Well, each to their own. That's all I can say about that, Ben. It gets easier. I was literally just the same as you. All I knew how to do was do the stuff on the hood. It's this loco that's actually got me twiddling about with the stuff in the cab. You'll be surprised, you know, how quickly you move from going from doing the hood to actually doing it in the cab and stuff. It's not as hard as you may think. Right, so we're now off to Durham, which is 10 miles away. Now what I like about this, I mean, is all the detail. I mean, look at that, you can see the auto lubricators ticking away, releasing grease incrementally. There's just little touches like that. So next thing we're going to see, when we get around the corner, we'll see a Class 101 pulling away from the station there. It's on your wish list, awesome. It is a good loco. Mr. J, thank you very much for the follow there, much appreciated. Welcome to the crew. Right, there's your Class 101. Again, all this AI, except for the 3 right at the very start, they're all proximity triggered. So you can get here 10 minutes after me and you'll still see the AI exactly the same. You know, doesn't matter about your ability or when you get to the waypoints, you're always going to see the AI as I intended it. Oops. Almost sped. I mean, right down, the attention to detail is great. I mean, you even have to... Oops. I pressed the push to talk while I was pressing the thingy again. Yeah, you have to undo the reverser lock before you can turn it. How awesome is that? You need to set that up on your scenarios. It's you do it to real work. There's a little box. You click on the consist and there's a little box down near the bottom on the right hand side where you just put the number in for how many meters away you want it to trigger. Yes, I did get moaned at. Matt Pedalston didn't like it at all, did he? He was like, no, that's meant for the quick drive, that it's not meant for scenarios, but if it works, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, by the way. I did this on the off chance that maybe one day Matt might stream it. Drink Vimto. Because he likes his iron brew, doesn't he? And I always tell him to drink Vimto. Yeah, Mr. P wasn't happy that I was using the proximity trigger, but you know, if it works, you know what I mean? I'd much rather do it this way and have it appear the same for everybody, you know, regardless if they drive fast or if they drive slowly, you know. Because at the end of the day, you want people to enjoy it, don't you? I mean, for me, this just avoids the possibility of, you know, if somebody's running late and they miss the AI because it's already, you know, it's already done its thing before they got there. If they're doing it this way, it just cancels all of that out. You know, you don't have that problem. Yes, because there's some inclines on this route. But yeah, he had his diesel brake tender on. Coming up to one of the collieries. Got a double header Black 5 service that we're going past here. Limit ahead, so we'll ease up on the throttle now. Now, as usual, I went for realistic rather than white meat levels of AI. You know, I think when you do it every 2 signal blocks, it can look a little bit artificially busy, you know. So I went with every 3 signal blocks for the AI trains. I also did it that way because, well, just memory constraints. We've got just about the maximum we can have it. We already can't play this scenario on maximum settings, by the way, guys. You can't have full scenery quality. It will just tempt them while you're loading the scenario. You've got to turn scenery quality down one notch from full. Everything else can be on the maximum, but your scenery quality, that has definitely got to be down one notch from full. Otherwise, yeah, it'll crash. Because I always test to make sure, you know. I'd have liked it to have run on full scenery quality, but you know, I went for a level of detail as well. I had to balance the two, you know, and so I went for this way. I mean, most people don't have full scenery quality on anyway, because even Matt P always recommends have it one notch down. So it should run for most people anyway. It tells you about it in the description on the download page anyway. Right, we should see a Class 101 coming in. There he is, camouflaged against the background there. Coming in to get passengers. Now that totally wasn't what I wanted to do. I ended up hitting 9 instead of 8. That's why that happened there. What I wanted to show you there was I did some research and found some authentic head codes for the different services on the Class 101s. Right, it's downhill from here. I love watching them things tick round. They probably are the same locos, but they'll be in different folders, which is why you can only use the Steam Sound Supreme ones for the Just Trains ones. J94 with some empties. So we're picking up speed all the time because we're going downhill now. And we should see a Class 2 MT hauling some coal wagons through the sidings at this colliery here. There he goes. Just a couple of miles now to Durham. We've got a 20 limit coming up. Now if you do your braking properly, and I don't always do it properly, if you get it just right, we're going to end up with a 3-way pass here when we hit the 20 mark. Another little J94. Yep, I braked too late. So if you brake properly to make sure you're at 20, you both hit the same point, around about the same. It's close enough. And then we have our three-way pass with this guy. We've already missed, by the way, class 37 going down here. While I was faffing around, there you can just see him there. So off he goes. Next thing we'll see is a light loco, class 25. Bug going right over the other side. Right, there's nothing going on the fire mass. When that happens, just close the firebox door and open it again. And then the fire mass should start going back up again. There you go. It's a bug with the core code for the loco. Ed knows about it, but he can't fix it. But luckily, as you've seen, the workaround is pretty simple. There we go, there's a light loco, class 25. Advertising Movimto. I'm not picking up speed because we've got to slow down to 25 anyway and then stop in half a mile. So we've got a class 101 sat there. Let's just have an explore first, because we will just go past a lot of this and not see it if we don't have a look now. So we've got a class 101 in the bay there going to Darlington. And we've got one in the bay going to Newcastle. We've got some guys unloading bricks in Durham West Dock and putting them on a lorry over here, well, they're going to need more lorries than that, but you know, that's the only lorry there at the minute. And that's for all the housing that's being built. So we're being pulled up to the shunt here to wait at the signal because we're due to book. We're booked to drop all our bricks in this siding, which is obviously occupied. So while we pull in, we've got a Black 5 passenger service pulling in as well. Some guys discussing what work they're going to do on the Class 37 there. You're back, welcome back. And there's a link to this scenario that Moobot's just posted. And up in the distance there you can see the Sunderland Class 101. It's a service to Sunderland. You're booked to drop your load at Durham West Dock, which is currently occupied by a train that is still being unloaded, so you'll be held here until the bay is clear. You take the opportunity to hop out the hot cab and stretch your legs while supping on a cup of well-stewed tea from the flask. Excellent work, driver, and with a hangover too. Bravo! He's going to be parking up in the dock over there. But yep, that was bricks for Gilesgate. I've just recently put it on the workshop last night, and whenever it gets authorised, I uploaded it a couple of hours ago to UK Train Sim as well. There's two places you can download the scenario from. Up to you which one you use, but there you go, you've seen it, now you can play it. Right, I'm going to give you a quick slideshow while I restart Train Sim, because this was an intensive scenario, and we're going to do another scenario for the Bossman Games Black 5 next. This time it's one that me and Mr. Harrison in the chat there both colluded on, and it's on the West Somerset